Welcome wonderful people to my channel. It's Tariela. We do it differently. So the topic of today is how to change your environment as a Christian to be more Christian-like, you know. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and let's get on to the video. So one thing I want to give you, like a verse I want you to remember, is that it says in the Bible, do not be unequally yoked, period. So it doesn't mean that you can't be friends with people who don't believe in the same God. It means that when you are close to people, when you have a close environment, like close best friend or close friends, they should be people of the same quote unquote belief system or the same mindset as you. The objective is to change that environment that could be influencing you negatively, tempting you, or causing you to sin, and even be toxic or distract you from your purpose. Because there's some things that isn't necessarily quoted as sin, but if it distracts you away from your purpose, away from what God has called you to do, then obviously it's not God's will for your life. So ultimately, you want to make sure your environment is optimal for you to succeed at doing God's will in your life. So the first step is to identify people in your environment that are negatively influencing you. That you know that their lifestyle, if you're around them continuously, you will tend to act like them, and the way they act isn't necessarily what you admire or what you aim to do as a Christian, because you know that it's not necessarily God's will or what God will like or be pleased with. The next step is to conversate with them. Whether you are a new believer or you've been in the faith for some time, either way, you need to conversate with those people that are your friends, that aren't necessarily Christian, or they are negatively influencing you away from the faith. Conversate with them and talk to them, set boundaries. Describe to them how your life is now and why you will not be attending so-and-so or so-and-so events anymore, that they shouldn't invite you. Because if they invite you, you might be tempted to go. And then conversate with them and make sure that they understand your boundaries, they understand what you will and will not do / tolerate. So from this point, it's now for you to observe them. Have they changed, or have they respected your boundaries, or are they simply doing the same thing they were doing before? Are they still trying to influence you? Maybe not necessarily intentionally, but they just influence you because that's just how they are. Are they continuously asking you to do so and so, or peer pressuring you, or making you feel left out or like the odd one out because you're not doing a certain activity that they're doing that you know isn't aligned to your faith? You need to observe these things, and then once you've acknowledged that they haven't changed, you cut them off. Cutting somebody off doesn't mean blocking them. Cutting somebody off doesn't mean not talking to them. Cutting somebody off could be just reducing their accessibility to you, basically. So reducing the amount of times you talk to them, or reducing the amount of times you engage with them online, or giving them a longer response time than usual. It's just about reducing accessibility. Not in a rude way, obviously, but you want them to know that you're not necessarily as close as you were before, and you want to replace them, quote unquote, okay? Now, as well as the friends, you also have to identify your environment. What type of environments can you not be seen in? What type of environments can cause you to be tempted and do something that isn't aligned to God's will? You need to acknowledge this and stay away from those environments. And in terms of distraction, you need to identify your goals and identify what is limiting you from achieving those goals. Some of you have had goals for multiple years. It's been on your New Year's resolution for 3 years now, and you haven't achieved it because there is something limiting you to achieving it. Or maybe it's just not the right time. But you want to make sure that if it's not the right time, at least you've done everything you could to achieve it. So you know that if you haven't achieved it yet, it's still God's will. But sometimes there's limitations. For example, you might be distracted through Netflix, distracted through games, etc., etc. If you have to delete your Netflix account, then you need to delete your Netflix account. I'll describe me. So basically, I wanted to be consistent with my YouTube stuff, yeah. And I've always been the type to watch Netflix all the time, etc., etc. So December the 2nd, 2022. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. So yeah, I deleted my Netflix account, and ever since then, I haven't been watching Netflix. Did I get Amazon Prime along the way? Maybe. But let me tell you something, right? Amazon Prime versus Netflix, Netflix wins. Amazon Prime is hard to find a good show. I just don't know. And I'm a movie person, you know, but I've managed to adopt Amazon Prime so that I'm not too engaged to not do other things at the same time. So while I'm on Amazon Prime, I might be ordering or rearranging my captions for my Instagram stories or Instagram posts, editing some things. You know, it's in the background and it's not necessarily distracting me as it was before when I was with Netflix. Either way, it depends on you and it's subjective. Whatever is limiting you or distracting you from your purpose or goals, it needs to be removed exponentially. And try not to replace it. Don't be like me, okay? Like I've managed Amazon Prime to the point where it's not distracting me and it's not limiting me. I just have to have self-discipline. So after you've removed certain people from your environment, like certain friends, you have to replace them. So that is something I'm going to talk about in my next video, how to make more Christian friends. And if you're interested, hit the plus for more, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.